So what we're going to do is line this up with the grid. And to see right here, here's the grid line, and here's here. What we want to do is take this square and we want to make this picture be confined to the grid. So we're going to pull this picture up and see the picture snaps right there. So it's snapped into this place on the grid. That's what we want. Okay, something else that's very important that you're going to need. I'm going to press the Windows key, then press E to bring up this Windows picture right here. And what you are going to need is you're going to need the original picture. So I'm going to double click this. This is the original picture right here. So you're going to need this to put together to help you. You don't absolutely need it. It helps a lot to have this picture here to look at so you can put together the individual pictures that make up this image here. Okay, I am working on a computer that has two monitors set up. So I have a left as well as a right monitor. For me, I'm going to take this picture and put it to the side so I can still see it. For yourself, if you want to put it in the background and use it as reference, put it somewhere where you can either see it, if you have a multi-monitor setup, or minimize it so you can get to it so you can use it if you just would like to make things easier as far as you putting your picture together. Hopefully things will make more sense as we continue to work through this. You might be like, what is he talking about, putting it together and using this image? It's basically like we're putting a puzzle together. Okay, I have the picture on my other monitor so I can use that. What you want to do here with this is decide how big you want this picture to be. So I have this snapped to the grid. Suppose you want this picture to be bigger. You can see the size of my character. I could make him smaller, or I could use him as the size that he is. I think I'm going to make this bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to drag this picture to make it bigger. And I'm just looking at the area there, right? So I'm going to roll my mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to move our player character off. I'm going to take this up over here like that. So before you begin duplicating your image, that's what we're about to do. You want to make sure this is the size that you want it to be. Once you have this being the size you want it to be, I'm going to hold Control and then I just drag this picture out. So I let go of Control. It's just making sure it wasn't the same picture. So we have the same picture here, right? So I'm zooming back. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to pan the view. What I'm going to do is hold Control, left click and drag. I let go of Control. I'm going to hold Control, left click and drag. I let go of Control. Then I'm going to hold Shift, select all up. Well, okay, it won't let me. I don't think I can do that. So I'm just going to hold Control, let go of Control, drag, hold Control, drag, let go of Control, hold Control, drag, hold Control, let go of Control, hold Control. So now I have 9 pictures here. Okay, you're probably saying these are all the same pictures. You are correct. So when we click here, we can see here's the animation number right here. So this is 0, right? Now let's click on the second picture here. We'll change this to 1. You can see that picture changes. We'll click here. We'll change this to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We should have one more, so I'm going to hold Control, drag. Whoop. So I must be wrong. So there's 8 pictures. So I'm going to delete that. Okay, so now this is where our puzzle aspect comes out at. So this here is going to be, I know that this is near the bottom. This here is more this way. This here isn't quite like that. And yeah, pretty much here it's just like putting a puzzle together. So here you can see those 2 pictures line up. I'm rolling the mouse wheel back. I'm just looking to see where my player character is at. Oh, there he goes. So yeah, these here, don't even be concerned too much. I would say while you're lining these up, it's like where their position is. Just get them lined up, then you can move them later on to where you want them to be. Just like a puzzle. And the grid should help you. Granted, from this distance, the grid is making it a little difficult to see. So I don't think you need the names. I thought you needed the names, but I don't think you need the names. Okay, so you can see these 2 pictures line up here, as well as here. Okay, so this should be lined up here. Okay, so this is here. This over. That's there. That is there. Okay, and this is here. So I'm going to hold them the mouse button. Okay, so now those are all lined up. Okay, so now that we know where the areas are at, I'm just going to move these down so that they're over our starting area or our main screen area. Okay, so I'm going to click on our background area. If we look to, We have this. This is okay. We don't need that. This is useful. This is a instance menu, and basically our layers are shown here. So the closer you get to 1, the further your layers are back. So our background layer is on 2. So when we go to move our player, when we want our player to be over this picture or these pictures to make up this one background image, because our player is 1, it'll actually be behind these pictures. So I'm going to click on our player. It's very small there. And then we see this Z order. So I'm going to change the Z order for our player to 4. So now we can left click, put our player right in the center here, and our player is showing over top of these pictures that make up our background image. Okay, while we have this instances menu up, if I left click on background, we can see over here, this is the these are the properties for the background object. Since this is the background object, let's put a check mark here so that we won't be able to move our background. So we have to click on each picture. So we'll click each picture and make it so the background can't be selected. I'm holding the middle mouse button to pan. So to get out of this, we would have to click back on our instances, because see, we can't click here to see the properties panel because we can't click the background anymore. So we would have to use this instances menu and then come here, click one of these background pictures, and then go here and unclick there to get out of this. So I'm going to click this X button to get out of instances now. Okay, let's make it so a camera will follow our player around. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to pan the view. I'm going to click to the upper right, and then I'm going to left click on this check mark next to show grid so you can see our background without the grid. It makes it a lot easier to see. Okay, to have our camera follow our player character, we're going to click New Scene Events. We're going to click here where we see player is moving inverted. We have this blue outline surrounding this event. We're going to click this plus button to make a new event. In Gdevelop, a condition a condition says when something happens. We want this to happen all the time. And what this is the camera tracking our player character. So we're going to leave condition blank so that Gdevelop just constantly does this. We're going to click add action. We're going to go to layers and camera, and then we're going to select center the camera on an object. So we're going to left click here. That object is our player, so we're going to left click there, and then we're going to click OK. Okay, now with that done, we're going to click our preview button, and we can see our character traveling along our isometric background. When we look at our player character compared to the cars, our character is fairly big. So I'm going to close this, go back to New Scene Event.